Hi, everyone. My name is Finosha. I'm the Language Service Coordinator at Provincial Language Services, also known as PLS. So PLS supports equitable access to care through advancing linguistically and culturally appropriate services like interpreting as well as translation services to BC health authorities, specialists, and GPs. Interpreting services are available 24/7. So these include in-person or on-site interpreting is available, to the Lower Mainland. Then we have over-the-phone interpreting and video remote interpreting, known as VRI, which is available all across the province, as well as virtual visits, which are also available. Now, in-person interpreting for American Sign Language is also available for places that may be outside the Lower Mainland. Now, the focus of this video will be on VRI, but you can definitely find more information on other interpreting services here on our website. And then, of course, if you have any more questions, you can always reach out directly to me. Now, one thing to mention is that all information during any interpreting sessions is treated with, strict confidentiality. So the interpreters may be monitored for quality and training purposes, but of course, nothing is ever recorded to ensure that the patient's privacy and confidentiality is being respected at all times. All our interpreters also have the appropriate training and experience that is necessary to ensure that they can interpret with accuracy, as well as adhere to any interpreting standards and ethical principles. They're also trained as medical interpreters, and this is to ensure that they have a good understanding with the common medical terminology that may be used. Now, what exactly is VRI? So VRI is video remote interpreting, and it is an application that's available on any computer or mobile device. And it really allows interpreters to be available as needed or on demand for staff. Now, staff can connect within minutes to either 40 languages, which includes American Sign Language on video, or 240 other languages through the audio function only. And so these are all available 24/7. Now, this is really to, try and increase access to interpreters on demand, but it really does not mean to replace, in-person interpreters or phone interpreters. So VRI is really only recommended in situations where, there's no in-person interpreter available or for a follow-up appointment, as well as for any appointments that may be shorter than 30 minutes. So for American Sign Language, the primary choice of the community is to access in-person interpreters, which are available across the province whenever it is possible. And this is mostly because sign language is a three-dimensional language, and using a two-dimensional screen might be challenging for some patients. Using a video interpreter would also require that the patients have to look at the screen for the entire duration of the appointment, which can, of course, at times be tiring. And especially, also if you are working with kids, then our in-person interpreters, they have many training techniques that they can use to really catch the kids' attention. So for those cases, we strongly do recommend that an in-person interpreter is the primary choice. And of course, however, if you are in an emergency situation and while you are waiting for the interpreter to arrive, it is important that you use VRI for the time being. Now we will be doing a demo so that you have a good idea of what the application looks like on, a device or a computer, as well as how to use it. So right over here, you can see this is the general layout, and this is how it'll look like on the device as well. So you have here a section noted as top languages. So these are constantly, they're evolving based on which languages are being used most often by a staff. And then here, if you were to click on all languages, then these are languages that are arranged alphabetically. And let's say you knew which language a country was spoken in, but you weren't sure about the exact language, then you can always search it here. So for example, if I were to write China, then I can see all the languages that are spoken in China. Now you'll notice some of the language have the video icon, so that, as I was mentioning, the top 40 languages have the video icon, and then we have the rest that are available, which are about 240 languages that are available through the audio function only. So for this call, we will be doing a test call using, let's say, Spanish. So I'm just going to be clicking on the video icon here for Spanish, and we will connect to an interpreter. Now, connection is fairly fast, also depends on your connection, but it can take, fairly less than a minute to happen.
Hello, thank you for language. This is Dan, ID number 263928. I'll be your Spanish interpreter today. This call may be monitored for training and quality assurance purposes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dan. My name's Sanosha. I'm actually just doing a demo here for staff training. So if you don't mind, I'll just show the general layout and then maybe ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Wonderful. Thank you. So as you can see here, the overall layout of the app is very similar to how a Zoom call looks like. So you have the choices here for, hiding video if you'd like, or muting yourself at any point. And you may have heard Dan mentioned at the beginning that the call is monitored for training and quality purposes. But just to, again, make sure that nothing is recorded. And that is, of course, to really respect the privacy and confidentiality context of the patient. So Dan, could you also please show the writing pad feature?
Sure.
Wonderful, thank you. So as you can see, we do have this writing pad feature available as well, if you ever like to type anything. So it can be used in Spanish and then again, as well as English. And then if there's ever, a preference for a specific gender, once you are connected to the call, you can make that request. And then Dan would transfer you to the next available interpreter of that gender. So yes, thank you so much, Dan. This was great.
You're welcome. Thank you for some services. Goodbye.
Goodbye. You do have at the end a chance to submit any feedback you may have. I'm just going to write test call for now. You can submit it there, or you can also, email me or email us at plsqualityassurance@phsa.ca, and then we'll make sure to look into the matter as soon as possible. Now, another thing I want to mention is the troubleshooting aspect. So if you are ever having a hard time connecting, we almost always first make sure that you are connected to the correct Wi-Fi. So if you are connected to a public Wi-Fi, then the connection most likely will not be stable, and so it won't be able to carry out. But another thing we suggest is when you are connected to the right Wi-Fi, you can always do a network diagnostic test. So if you click on the help and setting part here, we suggest that you run this. And once you run it, it'll basically go through this. And if there is an issue with any of the features, it'll show a red X. And that way we'll be able to know, which area it may be that you might be having a problem with. I'm just going to stop the test for now, but for future, then you'll be able to make a reference to this as needed. Thank you so much for joining us today for the training session. That does conclude our video. But if you do have any other questions, you can definitely reach out to me at my email is just mentioned there right below, anosha.afak@phsa.ca. And if you have any other general questions, you can always reach out to our PLS email address. And for any specific feedback, we also have our PLS quality assurance at phsa.ca email mentioned there. So yes, once again, thank you so much.